Tommy Petillo is our guest today on Do Our Brambling Sound. He is the founder, president of the East Coast Music Hall of Fame, and a member of the Duprees. Tommy, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Glenn. It's a pleasure to be here. You're a great friend to the music.
And as I mentioned a while ago, what in the world inspired you to take on this task? Because I know it's not easy.
Well, it really is something that had to be done. I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has surely not gone enough to tell the full story of our music, and there really isn't a home for the music as well. So, that being said, along with the fact that CBS FM, when they took off the oldies from their station, I thought that was so disrespectful, and I don't know. It's just something that I thought about doing, and finally it's here with the help of a lot of volunteers and wonderful people.
It has been. I know this is something that is deep in your heart that you've wanted to do, and it all kind of stems, I think, from the failure of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to really keep up with what their original motto was, is that, let's induct people that did something for the music. Well, they've kind of forgotten about the 50s, and there are so many people out there, and I'll just mention a few of them. There's Frankie Avalon, there's Johnny Maestro, there's Bobby Rydell, there's Willie Winfield and the Harptones. Those people don't even get a sniff from Canton, Ohio, from Cleveland, rather. And that's why I think part of the reason why you decided to do this.
Well, it is, and, it's way overdue. And, I'm not here to slam the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at all. They have their purpose. They just went off into a different direction, and I understand they probably feel that they have to keep current and that they have a lot of young people running the organization now. So I can understand that. But that doesn't do anything for our music. I mean, the music of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and you could even go back to the early 40s of the pioneer groups where, none of these groups have been really documented in a museum or, the history hasn't been put down or maybe for a better explanation. There's no home for the music. Mm-hmm. And, when we approached Wildwood, which is the perfect spot to host a museum for this music, because for years they've been known as, everything is geared to that, mm-hmm. In Wildwood. I don't know if you're aware of that, but, the hotels and the acceptance of the music there has been really wonderful. So they opened their arms to us, and that really set this thing off really nice. So the convention center, of course, wants us there. So we have a lot of support by some wonderful people, and I think it's going to be a great thing for the music to have a museum for the music of the rock and roll era, and I can't wait. It just keeps growing every day. So thanks with the help of people like yourself.
It costs a lot of money to do this. You started out by starting a GoFundMe account for $25. For a minimum of $25, you could be a voting member of the hall. Uh-huh. And I don't think you've raised a lot of money, but I think you're looking at, and I know the Gala is going to go a long way towards helping you fund the things, but building a museum is going to cost a lot of money. Are you going to be able to come up with those dollars?
Well, listen, nothing happens overnight, and I think with what we've accomplished in 1 year is pretty amazing so far. We did raise about $15,000 from GoFundMe, and even more. No, not more than 15, but more money in checks that people sent. So that really got us off the ground. I mean, we had to, register the name and apply for the 501c3 nonprofit in New Jersey. Lawyers don't do anything for nothing, of course. So we had initial layout of money to get it going, and that's what we've done. We've accomplished that. We have everything in place now. We have our committees set up, your board of directors, board of advisors. So, all this stuff had to be in place before, we could really get this going. Now, that being said, as far as money's concerned, we're reaching out to a lot of different sponsors. The larger sponsors, we're waiting. 501c3 doesn't come overnight. So that plus with the shutdown of the government, we've been waiting for our confirmation, but everything is in place. We don't anticipate any problem with that. Once we get that from the federal government, then the larger corporate sponsors will be able to come on. They won't touch a nonprofit unless they have the federal, the okay by the federal government, obviously. But as far as money goes, you know what? This gala really I think is going to really help us in a big way. So far, the tickets are really going great. Excuse me. If it continues the way it's going, I expect to have, 3,000-4,000 people, hopefully maybe a sellout. We don't know, But if that happens, we'll have plenty of money in the kitty to do what we need to do to get things really off the ground with that building. Now, that the building in itself, we are Wildwood has. We've been in negotiations with them for a few months for the lease. The lease really basically is $1 a year for this 6,600 square foot building.
Nice.
That's how much they want us there. That being said, there are some considerations we need to take into. Before we sign a lease, that we have to address repairing the building before. There's some issues with the building before we sign a lease. That being said, that's where we are now with the building.
Back to the gala. It's June 5th, this coming year, at the Wildwood Convention Center. How important is this event, the success of this event, to the future of the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I think it's very important. Very important. I mean, how do you how else, unless, we get some big sponsors that come in and help us, we're not going to give up on this thing. We'll just keep trying and trying and trying until we see that, that it's not going to happen. Then, what else can we do? We just do the best we can,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we're this has been tried before by other people, as you know.
Yep.
With the Vocal Group Hall of Fame and so forth. But I don't think they had the support that we have with a city like Wildwood and a place like the Convention Center that's willing to help us. So I think it's the right time, the right place. It just all came together so well. My partner, Billy Greco, and all these people that have jumped on to help us. We got a real good shot at making this thing work. Is it a guarantee? No, it's not, but we have a real good shot. If people want to see this happen, come to the gala and support it.
Yeah. As you know, there are some naysayers out there. I've talked with them. They compare it to the thing that Dick Clark years ago did where they get some big investors. Well, this is different. You haven't gone to anybody other than maybe a sponsor. You've asked people like me to donate, and there's been a lot of those people that have responded. So, that it bothers me when you get the naysayers because we're trying to do one thing. We're trying to not only keep the music alive, but we're trying to recognize some of these great people that have been overlooked for way too long. And that's why I'm a supporter of this. That's why I believe in it, because I want to see something like this happen before I leave this earth and before guys, like Willie Winfield and some of those people that Chubby Checker and the people that should be recognized. And that's what this is all about.
There's so many. Glenn, you know as well as I. There are so many. The history really hasn't been recorded properly in a sense where there could be a museum where people could go do the research and just enjoy the music and the history. And not only that, but we're also about perpetuating the music. We want to help people coming into these younger fellas that are coming in that are interested in the music as well. So but I mean Joey D, Charlie Gracie, Lou Christie, Larry Chance, Johnny Maestro, none of these people have been in even remotely looked at by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's not fair.
No,
the East Coast it's way overdue. The East Coast needs its own Hall of Fame. You know, we have these scattered ones, Long Island, Staten Island, all these different Hall of Fames, but I think that with the help of the people that really truly love the music and the city of Wildwood, we're going to be able to make this thing happen.
You know, the other thing that you've done, and I hope you're getting some success off it, is that you have on your website, East Coast Music Hall of Fame website, you have a
Yes,
shop
sir.
in there with T-shirts. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing one of your long sleeve T-shirts today,
There
and
you go.
you've got cups and mugs and all those kind of things that help you raise
That's
money.
helping.
How can people get to that?
Well, if they go to the website, www.ecmhof, that's East Coast Music Hall of Fame, abbreviated.org.
Mm-hmm.
You could just click on the store, and that'll take you right to the store where you could purchase merchandise. 100% of all of that goes to funding the organization. No one is getting paid. It's all volunteer. And especially the gala. I mean, all these people are coming to perform with no pay, except the orchestra. Orchestra has to get paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other than that, and the of course the convention center.
Sure.
But yeah, the website would be the best way to get all of the information there. It has everything there you could want to know about the East Coast Music Hall of Fame.
And the tickets can be purchased there for the gala as well.
Yes, sir. There's a link there to Ticketmaster, and there's various prices, as you would imagine.
And you've also got a nice link to many of the hotels near the convention center. If people want to make their reservations, and I would suggest that, knowing how these things turn out, that if you plan to go in June, don't wait until a month ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead of time to make your reservation, because that's high season for these people, and you need to make your reservation now and buy your tickets now.
Yeah, that's correct. They're going fast too, as I understand.
Yeah. Let's shift up a little bit here to
Sure.
your career.
Okay.
You've been singing a long time, and one of the things I loved, and I've used a lot of clips off your program, the New Jersey Spotlight, where you've had groups on, and I've used those for the newsletter to share in the newsletter. But you were a military police officer in Okinawa. I served in Okinawa. I was there a little bit before you, but that's one thing we have in common is Okinawa. I was there from 63 to 64.
Oh, how about that?
Good life over there.
Pretty nice, beautiful island.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Yep.
You've been with the Duprees for over 40 years. You joined them with two of the originals. How did that all start for you?
Well, my cousin Joe Cataldo. My family was from Jersey City, so we had family there, and my cousin was very close to the Duprees. He was actually one of the Parisians that the group that there were two groups that came together to form the Duprees, or the Elgins. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And so I had a connection there. My cousin introduced me to them, and I was a huge fan before I ever thought I'd be a member. But I would say that, we being from the same area, playing in the same clubs, we came across the Duprees a couple times, my group Parkway, and John Salvato heard me singing Dupree songs with my own group. And I think when Mike Kelly decided to go on his own in '77, they started looking for someone else, and that's how I came into the group. In '78, I actually started with them, and it led to a lifetime pursuing vocal harmony and in and out of the Duprees. I was with the three different Dupree organizations. Because if you know anything about the Duprees, in the '80s there were many people coming and going after the original group broke up in '79. I was the last lead singer to perform with the original group, and the early '80s was a bunch of different people with Mike Arnone trying to bring back the group, and it finally settled to. The group, Tony Testa Phil Granito, Jimmy Spinelli, and Richie Rosado.
Mm-hmm.
Richie Rosado was with the group for 20 years. And then they brought me back in 2009. And then there was a group actually through the 80s with John Salvato's Duprees. And there were two groups performing, but, that led to a lot of heartache. I mean, it was about 4 or 5 years there where there were two groups performing and a lot of confusion. So, but it's finally settled down when Mike Arnone actually won the rights to the name, and that's when Tony Testa put the group together that you see today performing.
Yeah, and I tell you, I've seen you maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times, the group, and I love what you do. And I hear complaints coming out of the show, and it's most of the shows I go to, I hear the same complaints. And you know what it is? They didn't do enough doo-wop. But that's what I liked about it. You do some other things, and there's so much talent in your group that I really enjoyed that. But some people are going in and all they want to hear are the Duprees songs, and you guys do a little more. You do a little Sinatra, you do a little this. And to me, you guys do a wonderful, wonderful job. And if anybody has a chance to go see the group, the Duprees, I highly recommend it.
Well, thank you. Tony Testa has done a wonderful job with the group. He's out front. He's the master of ceremony. And you're right. We have 3 totally different personalities, 4 totally different personalities on stage. 3 different types of leads, so it's a labor of love, first of all, and we just do what we do and hope people love what we do, and it's worked out real well for us. I'm back now almost 15 years, I think, yeah. And it's been a real pleasure, real pleasure.
I love when you say it's Philly time.
It's Philly time. When Philly hits the stage, Philly's the only guy I know that gets a standing ovation every time he touches the microphone. He really does.
He can
and
move.
Jimmy Spinelli, Jimmy is a performer's performer. He goes out there and gives 110% every single time. And, of course, Tony as well. So, I'm in real good company. So it really is a pleasure and an honor to be able to carry on the tradition of the sound and the group, and you know what? Not for nothing, but you're always going to have your naysayers, no matter what you do or what situation you're in. Somebody's going to say something.
Well, as you know, there's this Truth in Music that was started by
Bowser.
Yeah, Bowser. Yeah, and I admire him for doing that. But we're getting to the point now where there aren't any. How many lead singers are still left from original groups? Maybe a handful of them. So if you want to hear the music today, you're going to have to listen to groups that are tribute groups because they're keeping the sound alive, and that's people are still having a hard time with that.
Well, listen, that's a fun. That's off the rails. That went off the rails with Bowser. Here we are, 40 years into it, and people are saying, "Well, they're not the Duprees." Oh yeah, of course we're not the Duprees. We don't claim to be the original act, but we are the Duprees. We're not the guys that sang the hit records, but we are the Duprees.
And you always give them credit. At every show, you take time, quite a bit of time, and you pay homage and tribute to those guys.
Yep. Well, maybe I'm missing something, but Bowser, didn't he make a career by singing other people's songs? He never wrote a song, did he?
Not that I know of. I don't know.
No. So, he's made his own career singing other people's songs. So, isn't that the same thing, really? Kind of. But I don't know. It's all nonsense. And, hey, listen, if you have something against a certain particular group that you feel that they're out there using a name that don't belong to them, don't go see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I agree.
that simple.
You mentioned Parkway, your early group. I am going to play a cut that I got off of YouTube. It's from 1992 on the Jersey Spotlight. You sing a couple of songs as times go by, and I Thank the Moon. So that'll be included with this article in Doo-Wop Ramblings this coming Sunday. That was a nice sound that you guys had. That was a good group.
Yes, it was. The Parkway was together 20 years on and off, And I was very fortunate to work with a lot of talented people, and it was just a wonderful experience,
Was that
I'm
show?
Sorry, we didn't record more.
Yeah,
but, it is what it is.
Was that show Jersey Spotlight the one that you ended up doing? Because your show was
Jersey Spotlight was a show that I produced in the '90s and hosted, as you know, and we did 100 shows. I only put 50 of them up on onto YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's 50 of them sitting in my closet that I haven't posted, but it's a lot of work doing that, by the way. You know?
Yeah, trust me, I spent 25 years in television. I totally understand how difficult that is.
I used to shoot. I used to do 3 or 4 shows in one day, so to cover the month, and it was quite an undertaking. But a labor of love. I got to meet a lot of great people, and it was fun. It was real fun.
The shows that you did with Ronnie Italiano, Ronnie I really enjoyed those because he was so knowledgeable and he loved the music so much. And fortunately, he's one of those that's being recognized and honored on June 5th.
Yes, he is. He single-handedly, in my eyes, kept the music going in this area, in the tri-state area. Really, I mean, Ronnie was a really special person. He loved the music, probably to a fault, in the sense that his whole life revolved around the UGHA and the music, and I just feel like he really, really deserves recognition, and I don't want people to forget him,
All right, one more thing. You are an author as well. Boy, you got more talents there, Petillo. I'm telling you. Tell me about.
I don't know if you'd say I'm an author, but
well, you wrote a book. It's called "We Need More Love Songs." Talk about that.
Yes. Well, that was a labor of love too. I mean, I started out writing a book about the Duprees, a fictional book, and it was all about a vocal group from Jersey City and the mob and blah 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 and all this stuff. And then Jersey Boys came out, so I took it and I put it on the shelf, and I said, okay, that's not going to work. So then I had the idea. I said, well, you know what? Why don't I just write the truth, tell the truth about my experience in the business, and being that there was so much confusion about the Duprees. My God, with all the changes here and there, and people trying to lay claim I was the lead singer, I was the background vocalist, so I figured, let me at least put down my experiences from 78 on with the Duprees, and my life story with regards to music and some personal stuff there as well. But I just felt I'm very happy that I wrote that book. I really am. I mean, it's not a heavy read, It's it's not going to win a prize or anything. But it's my story, and so far people have really responded and enjoy reading the book. So.
And how can we get it? How can we get it?
You can go on mydupreebook.com, or you could email me at tompetillo@gmail.com and request a copy.
You going to have copies at the gala?
Oh, yeah, we sell them at the shows.
Okay, well, that's where I'll buy mine, okay? I have not purchased it yet, but I do want to read it, and I enjoy reading books from people that have been in the music and have spent their life in the music. To me, it's all history, and that's what it's all about, is preserving the history. And I hope that's what my newsletter does, is preserve some history, because they're filed away somewhere, and they'll always be there for people to go back and look at, and including this interview. So maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they'll say, "Wow, look how far they've come with that." So,
well, I got to tell you, your newsletter is wonderful. I love getting your newsletter. It really is a wealth of information on what's going on and everything about the music. So,
well, thank you.
I actually forwarded your email, your newsletter, to all our members.
Very nice. Thank you.
All day I've been getting responses. Thank you so much for sending me this. I didn't know I wasn't aware of it or whatever, but I know you got quite a following as well. So I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're doing great with it. How long has your newsletter been around?
It's been around going on 8 years.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It really is.
It really is. You hit home with that. You're doing a great job.
Well, I started it, Tommy, to be honest with you, just to let people know what I was playing on the on my radio show that on Sunday night.
Okay.
and I'd put a few little tits and tats in there, and that would be about it. And then I realized that spending 25 years in the media, I was a sportscaster for 22, and then I anchored the news for 3 years. I
Very
felt,
cool.
let me turn it more into a newspaper to try to keep people informed on what's
Sure.
going on. And as you know, as you like to say, it's a labor of love, and that's what this is. Because I don't get any
Yes.
money off it, but I enjoy doing it. It's a love for me. But let me tell you what it's amazed me about this is that doo-wop, our R&B street corner harmony community is very, very small. We're a little tight knit group, but I'll tell you what, we're all over the world. I have
Yes.
1,500 subscribers that get the email. I post it to about 35, 40 Facebook sites with a potential of about 800,000 readers, but it's been read in 30 countries. 30. I
Wow.
got Belize about 3 weeks ago, which was the 30th country. So, I mean, we may be small and tight, but we're all over the world, and that's what makes it worthwhile. And that's what keeps me going, is that there are people everywhere that want to listen to the music and want to read about it. So that's what I do,
Well, that's wonderful. That really is a beautiful thing. And I thank you for that. I mean, really, I think that it's not over yet. It's not over for our music by any means.
No, that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing what we do, because we love what we do. We love the music, and if there's any legacy I can leave, is that I had a little bit of hand in just keeping it going and getting maybe
Sure.
some younger people involved, and just keep the word out there. And eventually, everything turns around. I saw someone recently with some bell-bottom pants on. I mean, come on, will you? But again,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe 10 or 15 years from now, kids will be singing on the corner like they did in the 50s. You never know.
Well,
Time changes and things change. So let's hope that that's what it is.
I believe that. I believe everything goes in circles. And if you look at a lot, if you look at all the music that's out there now, I don't know. That another thing too. I mean, we do need more love songs. There's too much hate in the world. There's too many people are against this and against that. I don't know. It's just
too many angry people in the world, Tommy.
Too
They're
many
angry
people.
It's amazing. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's what our music does.
Our music is the opposite
Absolutely.
of that. It's all about it's all about love. It's all about relationships. It's all about fun. And listen, I don't want to paint the world a rosy picture, but my God, everything that's coming at us today, from Hollywood to music and everything else, is all negative.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
And that needs to change.
Good luck finding a way to do that, but that's what we're trying to do with what you're doing with the Hall of Fame and what I try to do here, with all of us trying to do the things that we're doing. I mean, people like Charlie and Pam Horner, I mean,
Oh my
amazing.
God, yeah.
You talk about how they are taking the history of our music and a lot of different music that they're involved in, and they're putting that history away, and that's something that will always be there. And God bless them for doing that, because they're really very special people.
Yes, they are, and thank God Charlie's on the board of directors with the East Coast Music Hall of Fame. He's a crucial part of this whole organization. He has such knowledge, him and Pam, and he's chairing the museum actually, so it's in good hands.
No question about that. He's a master of that. Well, look, I appreciate your time, and it's been fun. I look forward to seeing you in June. I will be there, and we'll have a good time. Let's hope we sell the place out. And once again, we'll let everybody know that you can go to the East Coast Music Hall of Fame, ECMHOF.org or .com.
.org. Yes.
.org, and all the information to the gala. You can still become a voting member. The voting has been extended, I think, till April 1st?
Till April.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so if you want to be a voting member, as little as $25 will give you that privilege. And, it's to me, it's worth the cause. And I appreciate that I've been nominated in the newsletter category, and there's some pretty good competition out there. So it's going to be fun. But again, it's all about keeping the music alive. And I just appreciate you taking the time and all of what you've done through your singing and through your efforts here to keep this thing going. That I'll let you know that I know my people here that are involved in the newsletter and in the radio show. We appreciate greatly what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Glenn. It's a real honor to be recognized by someone like yourself. You're a historian and somebody who has spent his life pursuing the music and helping it.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in June.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.